Hello and welcome to my channel Happy Hours. In the last video we discussed about democracy, its types, type of democracy feasible in India and republic. Today we are going to discuss about union and its territory and the linguistic states. Part 1 of the constitution, the union and its territory. The Article 1 says, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. The Indian Union is not the result of an agreement among the units. The states in India have been created in accordance with the process mentioned in the Constitution, mostly because of administrative convenience. As the units have not created the union, they have no right to secede from it. And there are some points to understand. First, the summary of Article 1 is India is an undestructive union. You cannot destruct India. And note number 2, the Union of India consists of 28 states. Third, the territory of India consists of 3 parts. The first part is the territory of the states, the union, and the second, the union territories. The third, the territories that may be acquired. The article number 2 authorizes the parliament to admit into the union or establish new states on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit. The article number 3 authorizes the parliament or empowers the parliament to do the following items. First, to create a new state. Second, to increase the area of a state. Third, to diminish the area of any state. Fourth, alter the boundary of any state. And the fourth and the final one is to change the name of any state. Now we are going to understand what are the process of creation of a new state. The draft bill for the creation of new state is prepared by the Department of States, which is known as the Ministry of Home Affairs. Such a bill can be introduced in the either house of the parliament on the recommendation of the president. Before the introduction of the bill in the parliament, it is to be referred by the president to the legislature of the concerned state, which has to express its views within a specified time. After the lapse of the time frame specified by the President, it is assumed that the state has given its view. Then the bill is introduced in the Parliament. The Parliament is not bound by the views of the state legislature. In the Parliament, even if the bill undergoes a large number of change in the contents, it may not be referred again to the state legislature. The Parliament has to pass the bill by simple majority, which is 50%, and after it is passed by both the houses of Parliament, it is presented to President for his assent, and after the assent of the President, a new state is created. Now we are going to understand the article number 4. The article number 4 clause 1 holds that any law referred to the article number 2 or article number 3 shall contain such provisions for the amendment of the first schedule and the fourth schedule as may be necessary. And the article number 4 clause 2 holds that a law made under article number 2 or article number 3 may not be considered or deemed to be an amendment of the constitution for the purposes of article number 368. Now we are going to understand how the states are being divided. Some people are thinking of linguistic reorganization. The linguistic reorganization of states. The Constituent Assembly had classified the states into 4 categories A, B, C, and D. The integration and merger of the princely state was purely an ad hoc arrangement, and there were need for reorganization of state on a permanent basis because of haphazard growth of provinces, disparity between the various states, and the multilingual nature of the states. In the year 1948, the central government appointed Dhar Commission. It was appointed to examine the case for reorganization of state on linguistic basis. The commission recognized the importance of the reorganization of states on linguistic basis, but attached more importance to the historical, geographical, and economic consideration. It favored reorganization of the state on the basis of administrative convenience rather than linguistic consideration. So it was more favoring for the administration rather than languages. In the year 1948, the Congress constituted a committee of its members to look into the matter again, which was known as JVP Committee, where J stand for Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, V for the Vallabh Patel, and the P for Pattabhai Sitaramaiah. The committee rejected the idea of linguistic states but held that the matter can be re-examined in the light of public demand. So if the demand will be there, they are going to reconsider the same matter, whether the state can be divided on the basis of languages or not. But in the year 1953, Andhra was created on the basis of languages, and it was the first linguistic state. In the year 1953, in the month of December, the State Reorganization Commission was appointed by the central government, and it was headed by Justice Fazal Ali. And the other members were H.N. Kunjuru and K.M. Panikar. The commission recommended reorganization of state on the basis of language as well as administrative convenience. The States Reorganization Act 1956 provided for 14 states and 6 union territories, and finally we were with 14 states and 6 union territories, and the names of states are as follows: Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Bombay, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Madras, Mysore, Odisha, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Rajasthan. And the 6 union territories were Andaman and Nicobar Island, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Lakshadweep and Minicoy and Aminivi Islands, Tripura and Manipur. After 1956, now we have to know which states were created in northeast parts of India after the year 1956. That is, for the examination point of view, we should know. Now, we should understand what are the advantages and disadvantages of linguistic state. First, advantages. It fosters cultural unity among the people of the state. Before 1956, English was the language of the administration, which was not understood by the majority of the people. After the year 1956, the administration of the state is being carried on in the language understood by the majority of the population. It has led to the development of regional or vernacular languages. So we have discussed about the advantages. Now we are going to discuss about the disadvantages. First is, it has hindered the development of national language for the country. So till now, the India is deprived of having any national language. And the second, it has led to the development of localism or narrow regionalism. By this, I am going to conclude my video, and okay, thank you.